Brent Venables.
All right, good morning. Good to see everybody. It's great to take a break from you guys last week. I know you all probably don't feel the same, but it was definitely a good time away, time well spent. No, our guys had a great week, off week. Got an opportunity to get some guys healthy and get an opportunity to self-evaluate where we are from a self-scout standpoint, the things that we need to continue to work on and improve, scheme, fundamentally, personnel, our different packages, things that maybe from a tendency standpoint you can kind of lose in the minutia of a season. So we had an opportunity to look at that as well. Both sides of the ball got a chance to look at each other, have an opportunity to get guys refreshed, mind, body, and spirit, which is very important. We practiced 3 days, practiced last Monday evening, a non-padded practice for just about 9 periods. Then had an opportunity to do a service opportunity here locally with the team. And then Wednesday, a good, tough, padded practice on Wednesday. And then Thursday, another good, tough, challenging practice. Had an opportunity to scrimmage a lot of our, both our 2-deep and our 3-deep players. Have an opportunity to do that a couple of days and get them, continue to evaluate them and give them an opportunity to develop. It's a developmental game. So they enjoyed that, getting a chance to compete. And then, again, starting this week, we've got a 5-game stretch here, very challenging. Challenge for our guys is to, finish with no regrets, have an opportunity to, we can win every game and certainly we could lose every game. It's going to take everybody being completely and totally committed to doing their best. And it's not going to be easy, just like if we were 6-0 right now, handling that wouldn't be easy either. But finishing without distractions and finishing with great purpose, having an opportunity to finish the way we're capable of finishing. I think a lot of these guys are anxious to have an opportunity to try to do that. As I told them, this team will be remembered for how we finish. At 4-3 right now, that's in the rearview mirror. That's in the past. I can't do anything about what's taken place previously, but moving forward, right where our feet are right now, we have an opportunity to change the ending. So that's what we're focused on. Got a great challenge this week going up to Ames, Iowa, to have a chance to play Iowa State. Matt Campbell, I think this is his 7th year, has done a tremendous job. They've had, I think, 5 straight years of winning seasons. They got the top defense in the conference. I think they're 6th in the country in scoring defense. They've done a fabulous job in the unique scheme that they have. I think they, for the categories that they lead the Big 12, that nobody's done that maybe ever or in some time in the Big 12, being number 1 in the 4 major categories: scoring defense, total defense, rushing, and pass defense. So going to be a great challenge from that standpoint. Number 9, the defensive end for them, Will McDonald, terrific player, an All-American defensive end. They've got a terrific set of receivers as well. Xavier Hutchinson, number 8, great player. And then a quarterback that's, again, another dual threat quarterback in Deckers, doing a great job. Again, they've lost 4 games by 14 points. So they've been in every game. They got a tremendous culture there. They expect to win. Their backs are against the wall. We're going to get everybody's A game. That's what happens when you come to Oklahoma. You're not going to show up and sneak up on anybody. Everybody is ready to compete and play against Oklahoma. So going to be a great atmosphere for those that have been to Ames, and we don't have a ton of players that have, but I'm sure every seat will be filled, and they'll be there early, tailgating a very loyal fan base, and again, they have an opportunity to fight their way out of some tough losses, just like we do as well. But for us, had again a chance to self-evaluate, get back to the basics, and for our team, I just told them all they can write is what we do. moving forward. So we're going to be judged again by how we finish. This game is about mental toughness and fortitude and perseverance and the will to win. And so we got a chance to put that on display each of the next 5 weeks. If we put it all together, as we've shown a few times this year, we got everything we need. That's what I know. But we got to be relentless to improve. This is what the game's all about. Somebody asked me when we began the season, what would be a measure of success for you in year one? And I said, get better from the beginning of the year to the end. And a little bit shorthanded, not having Dylan a couple of games. We know that when we got here in December, there's a number of scholarship quarterbacks that were no longer here, and that takes a toll. Is valiant of and toughness that he showed. Davis didn't get here until we started up fall camp. So again, to give us a chance to play the way we're capable of playing, Dylan gives us the best opportunity to win. And it was great to have him back last week. But if we got a healthy team, we got everything that we need. But we got it. This is a game of improvement. That's what it's all about. And so that's what last week was about. That's going to be what the next 5 weeks are going to be about as well. And it takes what it takes. There's no, again, all of a sudden now, coming off a bye week, it takes something different. It takes exactly what it takes. There's an expectation for every player on our team when you get into the game to play and can perform to a standard. And you got to take ownership with both the good and the bad. But commitment, sacrifice, great focus is what's going to separate, our players once they get out onto the field. And, again, the climb gets steeper as we finish the year. The margin for error is virtually none. The air gets thinner. And we got to be intentional about everything that we're doing, moving forward. So with that, I'll open up for questions.
Start with Eric Bailey here.
Thank you.
Brent, I want to ask you about just a young player, Robert Spears-Jennings, just his evolution to where he played, got on the field last week, and then also, is it just a sign of what young players can do, how they move into that point where they can contribute? Can you talk a little bit about Robert and that?
Yeah, Robert's got a great future ahead of him, incredibly bright. He's tough, he's got great size. As we've seen our last game in particular, we've seen it in the last few weeks practice, really since our trip once we got back from Nebraska. Just his mindset has changed. I think he showed up with a different sense of purpose to what he's doing, and realized that the man in the mirror is the only thing that's kept him back from being his best. But terrific young guy. And again, a great future. We've needed him to come along to give us, depth and competition at that position. Key Lawrence missed a couple of games with injury as well. We've had to move some guys around. Obviously, we lost Billy, we lost Amond. So that his emergence has certainly helped, in that position group. And got a great future for him.
Yeah, Brent, I want to ask you about Braden Willis, and I imagine when you got here, you knew maybe the leadership component of things, but how important has he been to have, especially during this tough stretch that y'all have had? And did you anticipate him being as versatile as he's been offensively, being able to help you in so many different ways?
Braden's been great. As good of a leader as we have on the team, incredibly vocal. He's an alpha, both on the field and off the field. He cares a great deal, and it literally takes that, just caring a little more. If everybody cared a little more, coaches, players, you could really tap into, our full potential. But he's what it looks like when it comes to toughness, effort, accountability, discipline. He stands for everything that you want. Obviously, until you see somebody play every day at practice and in the games in person, you don't realize what type of versatility they have. But nothing surprises me now with him. But it shows up with the same mindset every single day, and that's what it takes. You got to have you got to have those things to be successful. And just the right mindset, the right attitude, the willingness to do the work. And if he's done anything, it's shown up with consistency, every day. And he does the little things over and over and over and over and over. And that's the hard thing to do, having the discipline to do that. So it's no surprise, and everybody's noticing. Every pro scout that comes through here, they love, Braden Willis. And to me, he's a guy that can change your locker room. He has that. Not everybody has that in them. But he does. It's a very natural gift, and one that, that he uses every single day.
You say nothing surprises you now. Was there anything that surprised you initially? Getting a look at him?
Just, again, how athletic he is, catching and running, and runs with power and physicality, the strain that he plays with. He's a very selfless player. So, one, players feed off of that. Two, that brings out the best in everybody. He's a great example for everybody else to follow. Players look to him and respect him, and they follow his lead. To see him show up and do it consistently, that's a really hard thing. That's what great players do. And there's great players are few and far between. Right? Great players are few and far between. And he's a great one. And for lots of reasons. He's talented. He's really, smart. But man, he's tough, and his effort is uncommon.
Brent, you mentioned the bye week being important to get some guys healthy. I wanted to ask you about Billy Bowman. Just what have you seen from him the last couple of weeks as he's been out, and how important was the bye week for him to maybe get some extra time to heal up?
Yeah, so he's just trying to get healthy, and so that's one of those things when you deal with a non-surgical injury. Everybody's a little bit different, how they heal and how their rehab goes. Billy attacks. If anything, you got to slow Billy down. Incredibly prideful, really tough, anxious to get back on the field. Great worker. Sometimes for him, less is more, because he'll push himself to exhaustion. And as you know, you got to kind of stay within the framework of the rehab. So we're hopeful he'll get back sooner rather than later. As of today, don't have an exact, a date for his return. So he's running around and trying to get in shape and trying to, again, have the kind of stability that he needs and the confidence that goes along with that too. Doing, as you progress through that rehab, you're continuing to push the limits, if you will, and start to do more and more things that are more football-like. So trying to get comfortable, with that.
Brent, the move of DJ Graham from corner to receiver, what went into that? How DJ responded? And what can we realistically expect from him in such a short period of time in making that move?
Now, my understanding, and DJ and his dad and I visited this when I got here briefly, he was signed as an athlete with the opportunity to play either side. They preferred him to try defense. He said he'd give it a try. His love is on offense and at receiver. So he asked if he could move back.
Is that the only position change that you guys had even looked at going into the bye? Like, I know you said you're looking at all things. So was there anyone else that you were even considering for a switch up?
Nobody else right now.
Both years at Clemson, you built defenses over time. If you can take like a 30,000-foot view on Iowa State, what maybe impresses you or fascinates you most about the success, the identity that they've built on defense there?
Well, I think the courage that it takes to make a drastic change like that. I think they did that, middle of the season years ago, and again they do throughout the last X number of years. One of the things that you really respect about Coach Campbell is and their staff is the development of their players. And I've always coaches, you try to take pride in getting guys to play beyond their ability, and they've done that consistently, both through effort and toughness and physicality, fundamentals, belief, systems, all of those things, details. From a preparation standpoint, And they've continually tried to tweak things systematically to try to keep up with the times and continue to evolve and grow and improve and play to their personnel strengths and protect their weaknesses. And again, I think there's a popular belief that you can't stop people with a three-man front, and I think they've taken that myth and done whatever with it. They've been the example for what good defense has been in this conference consistently over the last 4 or 5 years. And and then I think you look at the other top defenses in the conference, whether that's, and I don't know. I know that they're number one in those 4 categories because Mike told me coming in here, and I've watched them play. But I don't know. But I watch everybody, and looks like TCU and Kansas State, 2 3-man front teams, also have 2 of the better defenses in the conference as well. Those teams, combined, I think they have just the one loss. So. Anyway, that being said, they do a great job, developing their guys and believing in their system, and again playing with great effort and physicality, all the things that it takes, to do well.
You may have hit on it all in there, but are there elements there then for you guys to mirror, not in terms of scheme necessarily, but in what you'd like to build here over the next X number of years?
That goes without saying. Absolutely, all the same things. Again. Building something that you believe in, and recruiting to, again, playing to your players' strengths, recruiting to your system, again, the development, the fundamentals, the execution, the precision, the details, the buy-in, the toughness, the relentlessness that it takes, the relentlessness to, from a mindset, what it takes to improve. And again, winning and success doesn't come with something that you do occasionally. It comes from something that you do consistently. That you're committed to it, you're relentless in chasing whatever that is, and so that's obviously we're trying to emulate all that throughout our program.
After that, John Hoover. Brent, when you said we could win every game, we could certainly lose every game, is that kind of maddening to not be able to know, kind of have that preconceived notion of who you're better than? Or
I don't mean to cut you off, but I don't mean to cut you off, but that's the game of football. You can't cheat this game. This game will reward you for precision, for your work, for your grind. What you do in the dark. It will reward you for that. It'll punish you for mistakes. So. Again, whether we're 6-0, I probably would say the same thing as I stand here and look at the schedule sitting in front of us. So that doesn't surprise me, and it's not maddening. That's this profession. That's this game. And that's why I've always had great respect. I think one of the reasons that I've been on a bunch of successful teams is the leadership, and including myself, buy into the mindset of respecting the game, respecting what it takes to prepare, to play well, to play consistently, all the little things, respecting the mindset of an opponent, playing and competing to a standard every single day, and, deeply buying into that. And if you skip a day, if it's an occasional belief, right, if it's an occasional commitment, then you're going to be exposed. And that's what I'm talking about. This game rewards you for what you do consistently, not what you do occasionally. And it doesn't reward you for, what everybody else thinks that you could be. It doesn't reward you for your potential. It rewards you for your performance. This is a game of performance. What you do on the field matters. What you do on the practice field matters. What you do in recovery, on the practice field, in the meeting rooms. So, it's not maddening. It's not. I don't look at it like that. And to me, amongst the chaos, if say Oklahoma was 7-0 right now, right, we'd be the talk in college football and everything else. There's still going to be the chaos going on outside, those walls. And here we are at 4-3, and there's chaos, if you will. And to me, you got to have calmness through all of it. And to me, the more chaotic it gets, for me personally, the quieter it gets. Always has, for whatever reason, always will. And you believe in a way that you do things. You believe in what it takes, and then you just go about your business. And to me, again, we've seen what we're capable of when we put it all together. All right, and that's what I want to see. That's my expectation every single week when we put it all together. That's the expectation. It's going to be our best 4 quarters of football is going to happen this Saturday in Jack Trice Stadium, and we got a lot to do with that. And but we got a lot of work to do. It's still going to be about the work we put in this week. And, hopefully our guys will stay consistent and do the little things right over and over and over and over and over until we can't get it wrong. And that's what it takes too. And, you can't grow weary in doing that. And it's a mentality, but it's a commitment. And you got to be present in the moment. And, late in the season now, there'll be a bunch of guys that are looking to graduate, that have opportunities to play in the NFL. There'll be some guys that maybe look at, what they want to do with their future, if it's here in Norman, if it's somewhere else. And all those things matter too, not getting distracted as a football team, finishing, again, with no regret. So we got to stay humble, we got to stay hungry, we got to stay focused, all the same things it takes, what we've been through and then what's lying ahead, it requires guts, it requires the will to win, it requires belief, it requires work, it requires a mental toughness, and it requires perseverance. And none of that is maddening to me, none of that is surprising to me. Those are the things that it takes. And so you really just focus on, again, quote unquote, the controllables.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned, getting Dylan back means a lot to your football team, and you've had the off week now, and you're going to face a really good defense here. But the offense really looked good in your last outing. I'm curious, your expectations with Dylan back, the more that he plays and the more that he's back, your expectations, even as you face good defenses down the stretch, what do you expect out of this offense?
Well, again, I think there's a lot you can always learn from what you put on tape, both the good and the bad. You're always learning. And coachable teams fix mistakes. And if there's mistakes that we put on tape, that's what the opponent is studying. They're not watching a huddle highlight tape of all your great plays. I tell the players that all the time. They could care less about that. They're going to find the holes in the fence, and they coming in. And so you better fix those holes in the fence. And so whether that's scheme, if that's technique, if that's, fundamentals, our job as coaches to identify, those holes in the fence, and then got to improve them, got to protect them. But the players got to be willing to put the work in too. There's got to be accountability, there's got to be ownership, and then there's got to be willingness to do the things that it takes to fix those things, and not to continue to do the same things. Like play with bad eyes, stare in the backfield, don't look at your man when you're in man-to-man, line up inside when you're supposed to line up outside, play it, in a press alignment and then bail as opposed to staying in press and not bail, and you don't have any help. And, all those little things that it takes to play well individually and certainly collectively, that's what I'm talking about from a, coachable teams fix mistakes. And we've been constantly trying to continue to put both the good and the bad in front of the guys that we've put on tape to try to get them to continue to learn and improve and continue to create the buy-in. You've got to be very practical. Great players, they want to know the truth. They want to be held accountable. They want to be coached hard. They want to be held to a standard that's hard to meet. And then, some guys don't. They don't like all that. That makes them very uncomfortable. They don't like it. They say they want to be great. They say they want to be good. They say they want opportunity, but they don't like accountability, and they don't like the truth. And they certainly don't like to look at the man in the mirror. So, for the offense, for the defense, for the the kicking game, we can't have any distractions. We got to be about our business. Again, we're going to be judged by how we finish. We got to have, again, a sense of desperation to do all those things that you're talking about. But every week it's it's a game in a season of its own. And, whatever you saw from Kansas and the Kansas defense offensively, it's everything's different, Structure's different, the DNA's different, the personnel's different, the play callers are different. You know, I think teams that drop it, you gotta play the game. You know, there's a saying that people say, well, we're gonna take what they give us, okay, and I understand that, to a certain degree, but you do have to, those teams thrive on people that lack patience, and they'll thrive. It'll be a lot of 3 and outs, and so you've got to be precise. We're going to have to play well in Ames, and let me just say that. And for us to have the kind of finish that we want, we're going to have to play well. We don't have to play perfect in any phase, but we got to play better. We got to play well. We got to complement each other. We can't do the things that beat you. Giving up big plays, not being able to run the football, and turnovers. Those are things that'll beat you and not give yourself a chance to win. So, again, we're going to get everybody's A game. Every single buddy we play, and no matter what their record is, we're getting their best game. And our guys don't like it, man. They need to go somewhere else. This is a big stage and a program that represents excellence over a long period of time, and so that's what we demand when we go, out on that field. And so for us, I want our guys to embrace that target, embrace the challenge to get better. You have to embrace that challenge to get better, to create the change that you want, as well. And the challenge is the challenge. It's tough and it's hard, but there's countless things. And you saw a glimpse of what that looks like last week. And our guys played a week before last against Kansas. Our guys played really well, really well. Got into a great rhythm, played really well from beginning to end. Had those 3 turnovers. You can't do that. That was a lot more uncomfortable at the end because of that. We allowed some short fields. We responded to 1 turnover. We got a 3 and out right away, and 2 others. We let them go right down the field, a couple of short fields, and we let them score. And again, that's a mentality. You got to have a first responder type of mentality. Like it don't matter, man. You just get in there and you get the job done. And we didn't do that. We got to learn and grow from that. And if people are gonna make plays on you, they got make them earn it. Make them earn it. And at times we did, and at times we didn't. So don't make it harder than it has to be. Sometimes we got to learn how to get out of our own way. That's what I would say. And and again, those are the things that we focused on here, last week and certainly the week before, and moving forward, to have the kind of finish that, again, I know this team's capable of having.
Yeah, Brent, you mentioned that you used the off week to self-evaluate as a team. What did you guys discover about your team, both pro and con, that maybe you didn't know before you took that deep dive?
Yeah, again, a lot of inconsistency. I think when we've had our moments of weakness, it's because of a lot of things, Barry. It's not just one thing. Whether it's fundamentals, it's technique, it's out of position because we're trying to do too much, bad play call, pre-snap penalties, turnovers, not making layups, overthrowing, dropping balls, you can go down the list. We've had some personnel issues, with some injuries at different times, and we got to, everybody's got to be prepared. You got to be ready because you don't know when your opportunity is gonna come, and that's the message to all of our 2 and 3 deep guys and our young guys that, there's some young guys probably discouraged in every locker room across the country right now because this is the first time they haven't had the same opportunity or the same role. And our job is to continue to nurture their development and their growth and their improvement. But you got to be ready for your opportunity too. You're not held to a different standard when you get your opportunity to get in the game. You're expected to meet and perform to a standard. And so we're trying to do that. Continue to develop our guys from that standpoint. Get our guys to learn from mistakes. Continue to reinforce not only the standards of our program but the schemes as well. And and continue to put the right things in front of them, script things the right way for them to continue to make improvement and gain the confidence that we need to. again, play to our strengths and, again, protect our weaknesses. After 7 games, you figure some of those things out. Some of it right now you don't really want to share, and some of it you don't mind, but we need to be more physical. We got to get off of blocks. We got to understand, what everybody around us is doing. When you do that, that really frees you up to play more consistently and more confidently, more aggressively. We got to be more precise in our tracking angles to the football. And again, guys up front, man, we got to play with better pad level, create more disruption. Get RPO world. We got to do a better job transitioning from run to pass, recognizing our situational football has got to continue to grow and improve. Understanding again, what the mindset of an opponent is. If they're in a 2-minute mode, based on the score, if it's difference between 3rd and 1 and 3rd and 4, big difference. And there's certainly a big difference between 3rd and 4 and 3rd and 18. And so getting our guys just to really understand football, continue to grow that way, improve from an intelligence standpoint, and again, not make the mistakes that it takes, or not make the mistakes that can cost you games. Again, penalties and turnovers and overthrows, things of that nature. So working on precision and timing on every single part of our, all 3 phases of our, of our team.
What about yourself?
Mm-hmm.
What have you learned about yourself as a coach since December? 10 months now in a new role. Have you discovered something about yourself that you didn't know?
I don't know if I didn't know, but I think it's reinforced that players they're listening and watching every single thing you do. We had them fill out some self-evaluation forms that I put together to help our players think about where they are in their life right now, and certainly some of it has to do with football, and some of it doesn't, and some of it is how we do what we do, and but a lot of it's self-evaluation, and so for me that was enlightening. They're listening to everything, they're watching everything that we do, just like young kids, raising them up, and how you do what you do matters to them. And, having a consistent, if it was a great message at the beginning of the year, it sure as hell is a great message now, too. And whether that's, again, laying the foundation of things that are important to us from a value standpoint and a fundamental for our program standpoint. And so for me, just continue to rehearse the things that are important, foundationally, things that allow you an opportunity to be successful, things that it takes, and helping our guys as young people think the right way. I think is incredibly important, and continue to have an attitude of belief. And there are a lot of things that they can't control, whether it's the home that they grew up in, their race, dysfunction that's all around them sometimes. Things that they can control is their attitude, their mindset, their work ethic, their commitment, and to continue to reinforce those things. And not lose their identity in a moment. And to me right now, this is a moment, 4-3 or season team 128 or 2022, this is a moment in their life. So I've got to have a perspective from that standpoint too. Being successful as a coach is a big part of my duties, as the head coach here at Oklahoma. But doing it the right way is important too. So I've had to remind myself that can't be ball 24/7. I'm going to get the best version of these young guys. Man, they got to continue to love coming to work every day. And so creating the right environment where, again, it's there's honesty, there's trust, there's communication, there's respect, there's accountability, there's strain, all of those things that, that it takes to be successful. So, I've had plenty of adversity in my life, and certainly as a coach, and this isn't any different than any other kind of adversity to me at all whatsoever. So again, self-revealing and things of that nature. Again, I know this, everybody's going to follow my lead. So if I don't, they won't. That's what I know.
Standing right, Justin Martinez.
Hey, Brent, you talked about nurturing the development of young guys. What have you seen out of R. Mason Thomas in terms of his progression, and what has maybe impressed you the most about him this season?
he's just he got a light inside of him that's really special. Amazing young man. He's a winner. You know, of course he missed several weeks, almost a month, because of a hamstring injury. But he's wide open. He's full tilt. You know, he's all the way on go every day. You got to slow him down. He's thankful. He's appreciative. You know, I asked him what the highlight so far of college was. He talked about team bonding, the new relationships that he's been able to have. He didn't talk about anything about himself, like, oh, when I got that tackle, or I made my, made my first play, or I ran in the first time in a game. Nothing like that. It was about the stuff that really matters, that have sustainability for the rest of his life. He's got a great perspective. He got a great mama who's a fighter, who's got great perspective in life, and comes from a winning program. He's brought a lot of those same traits. He shows up every day with a willingness and a readiness to work. He's tough. You can coach him really hard. He's got better awareness about himself than anybody else could possibly have. And that's why he's created an opportunity for himself. He's got great value. He brings value to the team, to whatever space he's in. He brings value to it every day. And it starts because he has a great attitude. He has a thankfulness, and he's really tough. And he's got a tremendous work ethic. Great future. He's very talented, twitchy, super fast, very natural in a lot of things. He's got the out of season, putting on some, some weight will be important for him, but he's a lot of fun to be around.
Time for three more. Ryan Chapman.
Brent, last night we were talking to Deshaun White, and one of the keys for the linebackers, emphasis for the linebackers, was timing up the blitzes a bit better. With how multiple you guys want to be and how much you just have to digest, how hard is that early on to kind of time that up correctly, and how long does that process take?
From that, I believe that when you're really good at it, a lot of times it's just instinctive. It's a very natural thing. That's a gift. Just like striking people. Some people are heavy strikers. They're heavy-handed. They're speed to contact. The closer they get to the ball, the faster they get, the more explosive they get, the more knockback they get. Same thing with blitz timing. You can get guys better at it. There's some timing mechanisms that you try to get them to be aware of, and you practice that. But a lot of it is instinctive.
Okay, third row, John Shin.
Yeah, Brent, you mentioned, you'll be judged on who you get better throughout the season. How hard is that for a defense? Because it seems like the grind of a season takes a bigger toll on that unit than anybody else. How hard is it to keep showing constant improvement?
I mean, I don't know. That is hard. It's always hard to get them better, because if you have success, it's hard to, oh man, we've arrived, right? Guys aren't quite as hungry, they don't want to hear it. They're buying into their, press clippings and all the great things everybody wants to say about them. Stay hungry. And then if you're not successful, right, pulling yourself off the mat and continue to buy in and stay committed and being all in when it comes to a commitment. That is really hard too, to keep coming back without having in their individual minds what better looks like, where they can quantify it. And so, I think that I don't undervalue that. What you say, how hard is that? I don't know why it would be different for defense as opposed to offense, though. I don't.
Well, you mentioned like tendencies and stuff like that. It seems nowadays offenses, if they see a scab, they don't pick at it; they go at it with a machete. I mean, it's
professional courtesy, right? Yeah.
I mean, it just seems like defensively, if you've got problems, they're a lot harder to fix than maybe offensively. You can just not do what you struggle at, but defensively, you don't have that option.
Yeah, you can't run from it. That's for sure. You got to run right towards the hard, and it's easy to go the other way. And so again, awareness and accountability, ownership. Our job as coaches is to create ownership both on our side of it and their side. So having the ability to appeal to their voice of reason and saying, yeah, coach, that's me. again, that's where it's going to start for all of us. You know, if you're going to make the improvement, you got to have, again, the ownership and the self-awareness that I got to get better at these things. And if he does that and I do this and he does that, then collectively we can get better. And so, but I believe in, a process. I believe in fundamentals. I believe in toughness. I believe in mindset. I believe in attitude. I believe in the practice field. I believe in that film room. And I believe in the consistency that it takes. You can't, again, as I said earlier, you can't do it occasionally. A success and winning is not rewarded by what you do occasionally. It's what you do consistently. And so that part, like anything, when you're dealing with, again, 18 to 22, 23, 24-year-old guys, is to get them to consistently do the things that it takes. And again, coaches too. Like, coaches, stay hungry, you know, be convicted, show up with passion and intensity and love for what you do every day. Coach can't grow weary either. You know, it takes a toll on a season for a coach, drag himself out of bed every day. I don't have that problem, and I'm not beating my own chest. I just have never had. I love what I do, and I love it no matter if it's really good or if it's not. I love seeing the players have a smile on their face and walking in with some confidence and having an edge to them because of the work that they put in and then the result that they got from that work that they put in. I like to see that in the eyes of a player. And I'm discouraged for them when they're not seeing, you know, the fruits of their labor. But I just got to just go back to work. And it's a very simple concept, hard to do because it takes all those things I've been talking about, you know, for the last 40 minutes, you know, and you got to do it every single day. That's what the best of the best do, man. If they do something well, Braden Willis, they show up consistently with the right mindset, with the right work ethic, with the right commitment, with a toughness that is hard to match, and a focus, you know, and I talk about a focused intensity. You know, you can't just be intense, you know, you got to have a focused intensity to you, you know, where you're looking at a target, you're looking at a goal, and you're very focused on that in that moment. Being present in the moment is what it's all about, you know, not worrying about what you did wrong at the first part of the year. And that's our job too as coaches, to help them remind them of, here's the things we've put on tape. You know, we're still doing the things that we did wrong in the UTEP game or which we won, or the Nebraska game, which we won, or again, TCU or Texas or Kansas State, which we lost. We're still rehearsing those things and showing those to our players on the field so that they can, don't do X, Y, Z, you know. So I don't know. It's you know, being successful is hard, and so again, whether again you're doing really well, it's hard. Keep guys hungry and motivated and on edge, and not full of themselves. Staying desperate to be successful, respecting the mindset of an opponent. Again, literally, as you climb, it gets harder. It gets steeper. The air gets thinner. The margin for error is less and less. You don't. Okay, you have a 12-game season, and you come out and you lose game one. You can still fight your way back, quote unquote, right, in the playoff talk or the championship talk, and you know, we've had to reset some of our goals. You know, what's in front of us right now. Well, here's what we control. You got 5 games, 5 straight weeks. You got, between game days and practice days, you got, we're at 29 now. 29 days of practice and games. That's it. And after today, it'll be 28. And, man, you got to make the most of it. You want to have a season where you have no regret, man, then you got to give everything you got. Like everything you got. What we've been asking from the get-go for the last 10 months. You continue to put everything you got into it. That's your only chance. There's not, again, a different formula now whatsoever. The things it's going to take for us to be a better team than when we started. And I believe we can do that. And it's going to take a lot of work. But we got to have a great Tuesday in order for us to have that, in 5 weeks, what we want. You got to have a great Tuesday. You got to have a great, team meeting. You got to have a great. So I got to come ready to go too every day. I don't take that lightly either. You don't come in there and just fist bump it. All right, man, let's go to position meetings. I got to help my guys think the right way, focus on the right things, and be committed to the right things, and and get them to see the vision that we have, what we want to accomplish certainly this week and moving forward, what that's going to look like down the road, and make sure that they understand that none of it's going to be easy. So.
We'll close with Lee Benson in the back.
Coach, Ruth brought up the self-scout yesterday. You mentioned it at the top. Just curious, defensively, if any particular position group maybe benefited more than others on this self-scout that you've noticed and you're thinking, oh, I want to see how this group maybe plays next time out.
I think that's a hard thing, to be very honest. It's a hard thing to quantify whether one position group benefited more so than the others. I think the test of time will show that. I'm hopeful that everybody equally benefited. Every single group has both its strengths and its weaknesses and things that we got to improve and get better at. I'm just hopeful that collectively, we're able to do, make the kind of improvement that we need to. But there's a lot of work to be done, and again, I believe our guys got the willingness to continue to put the work in. Again, we had a great week of practice the week of the Kansas game, and it showed, and our guys had a great bye week, just a tremendous attitude and perspective. I had a great practice last night. Again, I'll be the first to tell you when the practice, doesn't meet the standards, our expectations. Our guys they've been hungry, they've been humble, and they've been hardworking. So, hopefully, there'll be improvement, between now and the end of the season.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.
All right, appreciate you all. Have a great day.